I'm the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So a while back, I had a video where a Chaos Alliance attacked some Necrons on a tomb world and gained access to a underground Necron complex. Then recently I did another game, the one that was directly after the other one. I mean, not in the video game portion part, but I mean, Either way. So yeah, they've managed to clear one room in the complex. That was the last game. So this game will be the fight for the second room and the possibility of them continuing forward. So this 4x4 area here will be our second interior room. The Chaos Alliance troops will pop out here, no further up than the yellow dice, but anywhere else back there. They're trying to get at least one person over to this archway. Necrons will be popping out of the two convergences for every turn of theirs. So let's meet the people going into this craziness. Alright, so here's today's Chaos Alliance forces. So the Iron Warriors have a 10-man squad of Chaos Legionnaires led by an Aspiring Champion with a Power Fist and a Plasma Pistol. And the guys have 6 bolt guns and then 3 bolt pistol chainsword, 5 Havocs. You got a las gun. I don't remember what that bolt gun thing is, but it's like a super bolt heavy thing. The auto cannon and a Reaper chain cannon. No 1,000 Suns. You got 10 Rubric Marines. 4 with the Flamer, 4 the Infernal Bolt Gun, a Soul Reaper cannon, and then the Aspiring Sorcerer knows Zinch's Firestorm. And then 2 5-man groups of Scarab Occult Terminators. The group on the left is the Heavy Warp Flamer, and then the group on the right has the Soul Reaper Cannon. Both groupings have a Hellfire Missile Rack, and both of the Aspiring Sorcerers know Doom Bolt. Death Guard, we have 7 Plague Marines. There's a Blight Launcher, an Icon. The guy with no hands has a Cleaver. There's a Flail of Corruption. The Aspiring Champion here has a Plague Knife and a Plasma Pistol. And then 5 Blightlord Terminators with a Blight Launcher, a Plague Spewer, a Flail of Corruption. A guy with a Mace, and then a Plague Sword and a Combi Flamer. And then the Night Lord grouping. 2 10-man squads of Legionnaires. This grouping has Aspiring Champion as a Power Fist and a Plasma Pistol. They also have a Flamer, an Autocannon, 2 Bolt Guns, and then 5 guys with Bolt Pistol Chainsword. Basically the same setup over here. 5 guys with Bolt Pistol Chainsword, 2 Bolt Guns, 2 Heavy Bolters, and then the Aspiring Champion has a Chain Axe and a Plasma Pistol. Everybody has to have the Plasma Pistol. And then 2 Obliterators. So the D6s next to these guys are what round they show up in, so I don't forget. Alright, so this will mostly be the Necron Forces of Defense today. 2 3-man groups of Scorpack Destroyers will be just roaming around looking for things that shouldn't be there. So I use my convergence of dominions as teleporters. So at the end of every round, I'll roll a d6 for each convergence. And on a 1, 4, or 6, 5 flayed ones appear. And on a 2, 3, or 5, 3 scarabs appear. And yeah, that'll be the Necron defense for this game. So all Chaos has to do is just get one guy. Doesn't even have to be a full unit, just one guy from there to there. Seems easy. It's only about 4 feet. I don't know. Alright, well, I'll set this up, and I'm definitely going to have an enjoyable experience playing this game. Hopefully you guys have fun watching it. Alright, so starting us off for Chaos, we have the 10 Iron Warrior Legionnaires, the Plague Marines, and one of the Obliterators. The Necrons have one group of Scorpex over by the Gateway, and another one over here by the Convergence. Alright, as the attackers, Chaos gets to go first. So, movement. So, everybody just advanced forward. The Iron Warriors got pretty far. The Plague Marines and Obliterator kind of got up there as well. There's really nobody in range to shoot. They advanced, so they can't use the rapid fire. That'll make it the Necron turn. For movement, so the Scorpex that were over here, not by the Gateway, just moved forward. The ones that were by the Gateway advanced up. This Convergence spat out 3 Scarabs. And this one kicked out 5 flayed ones. Ordinarily, the Necron shooting phase is my favorite phase, but there's not a single gun on the Necron side for this game, so charging it is. The flayed ones and the Scorpex are going to charge into the Iron Warriors here. Alright, both groups made their charges. Nobody suffered any damage in Overwatch. The Scorpex managed to kill off 4 of the Iron Warriors. The flayed ones killed 2. They didn't kill anybody in return, and 2 of their guys ran away. That was super awesome and crazy. Alright, well that'll take us back to the Chaos for turn 2. For another group of warriors to appear in this area. Alright, so the Iron Warriors here have decided that they're going to stay in combat. The Plague Marines and the Obliterator have just moved forward to get better eyes on the Scarabs. So, second turn popped out the Iron Warrior Havocs. The group of Night Lords with the autocannon and flamer. And then the Rubric Marines. That will indeed take us to a psychic phase. So the aspiring sorcerer here is going to try and manifest Tzeentch's Firestorm on the flayed ones. Goes off on a 7. That is not a 7. Well, it was worth a try. Alright, well, instead we can do some chaos shooting. The Obliterator and the Plague Marines managed to kill off all 3 of the Scarabs. No charging for these guys, but these 2 Iron Warriors are going to continue their melee battle against the Scorpex and the Flayed Ones. Alright, the Iron Warriors Legionnaires managed to kill off a Flayed One. And then just got pretty much eviscerated by the Scorpack destroyers. It's a nice image. I like it. Okay, well, that'll make it the Necron turn. Movement. The Flayed Ones and Scorpacks have moved out towards the landing area for the Chaos area, for the Chaos troops. And these Scorpacks have come around the corner and are heading towards the Plague range. And then both convergences spit out 3 Scarabs. Alright. No guns, so the Scorpacks and the Scarabs are going to charge into the Plague Marines here. And the Flayed Ones and the Scorpacks are going to charge into the Rubric Marines here. This is going to get really, really interesting, really crazy. Alright, so these Scarabs over here did not make their charge. Everybody else did. The Flayed Ones over here all died off to the Warp Flamers from the Overwatch of the Rubrics, which was crazy. Alright, so the Scorpacks managed to kill off 3 of the Rubrics. They took no damage in return. And these Scorpacks killed off all of the Plague Marines. So yeah, that wasn't bad at all. I like it. That'll make it the Chaos Alliance turn. Alright, so the Obliterator and the Havocs moved forward. This group of Legionnaires has moved closer to the Scorpacks and the Rubrics. I'm just going to stay in combat with the Scorpacks. So another Obliterator and the other group of Night Lords Legionnaires came in. So the Psyker phase should be this Aspiring Sorcerer trying to do Zinja's Firestorm on the Scorpack Destroyers. Well, he gets it with a 12, but he also perils. Alright, so we're looking for 6s here, and there is 1. Alright, so that means the Scorpacks take 1 mortal wound, so one of those guys goes down to 2. And then that'll take us to the Chaos Alliance shooting phase. Well, it took the Havocs and both Obliterators to kill off the Scorpacks that were over here. That was ridiculous. Charge phase. These Night Lord Legionnaires are going to charge into the Scorpacks, and then regular combat with the Rubrics. I don't know why that's so hard to say. Okay, Night Lord Legionnaires made their charge. They managed to kill off the wounded Scorpack. Then the Scorpack, well, the Thousand Suns were unable to, the Rubrics were unable to do any damage, and the Scorpacks killed a couple of them. They're still alive, still holding on. That does make it to Necron turn. So the Scorpacks are going to remain in combat. The Scarabs, these have gotten closer to the Night Lords. These have gotten closer to the Obliterators. So this convergence spat out 5 Flayed Ones. This one spat out 3 more Scarabs. I do love Scarabs. They're just so cute. So a charge phase. These Scarabs into the Night Lord Legionnaires. These Scarabs into the Obliterator. And the Scorpack regular combat against this huge blob that's about to get bigger. So both sets of Scarabs made their charges. Neither one suffered any damage in Overwatch. Neither one actually wounded their targets. The Obliterator actually managed to kill a Scarab and do some damage to another one. The Legionnaires managed to kill off a Scarab, and the Scorpex killed off the remaining Rubric Marines. Okay, so turn 4, the last turn for Chaos well, the last turn where Chaos troops will be coming in, so hopefully these guys can get some ground covered. Okay, so the Obliterator and these Night Lord Legionnaires are going to remain in combat. The Havocs, this Obliterator, and the other squad of Legionnaires for the Night Lords have all advanced forward. And then the Blight Lord Terminators and the two groups of Scarab Occult Terminators have entered the area here. So, Psyker Phase. Both of the Scarab Occult Aspiring Terminator Sorcerer guys. There's a lot of words in that title. They both know Doombolt. They're both going to try and manifest it onto the Scorpex here. So the first one needs a 9. That's a 7. That's a fail. So the other one also needs 9. Actually got it with an 11. So D3 damage to the Scorpex. So 1 damage. It puts them down to 2. And they move at half range. So instead of going 8 inches, these guys will go 4 next turn. I don't remember the last time I ever got Doombolt off in a game. The warp charge on that's just really, really high, so. But it was nice that it happened. And now we can do some chaos shooting. Well, after looking at the board and doing some measuring, really the only people that can shoot were the guys in the Legionnaire group here that have the bolt pistols. And none of them managed to do any damage. So, charging. The majority of these guys advanced, so they can't charge. But both sets of Scarab Occult Terminators are going to charge into these Scorpex. And then regular combat with the Legionnaires and the Obliterator. Alright, both sets of Terminators definitely made it. Both sets of Terminators definitely destroyed the Scorpex. And then in regular combat, the Legionnaires managed to kill off one of the Scarabs, didn't lose anybody. And the Obliterator managed to kill off the wounded Scarab. Alright. Scorpex really did some good work over here. That'll put it over to the Necron turn. For movement. Alright, so the two remaining Scarabs that are in combat are going to stay there. The Scarabs that popped out last turn moved up to get closer to these Legionnaires to tie them up some more. Flayed ones that popped out last turn have moved over towards the Havocs. And this convergence spat out 5 more flayed ones. And this side must have really liked Scarabs because that's pretty much all it's spat out. Yeah, so 3 more Scarabs from this side. So, charging. These 3 Scarabs are going to multi-charge into the Legionnaires, the Night Lords, and this unpainted mostly unit of Scarab Occult Terminator. And these flayed ones are going to charge into the Havocs. Whole lot of combat coming the way. So everybody made their charges. The Havocs killed 2 of the flayed ones in Overwatch, and then lost 1 of the Havocs in the actual combat portion. These Scarabs did manage to multi-charge into the Night Lords and the Scarab Occult Terminators. They did kill off 1 of the Legionnaires. So the Legionnaires as a group managed to kill off the other Scarab that was over here. And the Scarabicol Terminators killed off one of these scarabs. Gonna be saying scarab a lot, apparently. And the Obliterator managed to kill off the scarab that was assaulting him. So that was crazy. That makes it the Chaos Alliance turn. And this is all they got now. They don't get any more guys, so see if they can at least get to the gateway. Okay, so the Havocs have fallen back over towards this wall. The Obliterator on the right just stayed where he was. The one on the left moved over to where he is now. The Night Lord Legionnaires over here have just moved over to get closer to the flayed ones. Blight Lord Terminators advanced forward. These guys advanced forward. These guys are all going to remain in combat. So the Psyker phase. So the Scarab Occult Aspiring Sorcerer is going to try and do Doombolt on these scarabs. Gets it on a 9. That's exactly a 9. So 96s. Every 6 is a mortal wound. There's 1 6 in there, so one of these scarab units goes down to 3. The other one's going to do the same. Doom bolt into these guys. Well, that doesn't go off, so one of these guys goes down to 3, and their movement is halved. So instead of going 12, they'll go 6. So the shooting phase, where I anticipate a large amount of flayed ones are about to die. Alright, so the Obliterator on the left managed to kill off the remaining 3 flayed ones over here. And the Obliterator on the right managed to get lucky and killed off all 5 of the flayed ones that were on the... he could see one of them, so that was enough. They're all dead now. Which definitely clears the way for the most part on this side. So nobody's going to charge, so it'll just be regular combat between the Scarabicol Terminators, the Legionnaires, and the 2 remaining Scarabs. Well, it took all of the Legionnaires and the Terminators to kill off one group of Scarabs. The Scarabs did manage to kill off one of the Legionnaires, which was crazy. Chaos Dice starting to roll real badly toward the end of the game, as it happens. Alright, so that'll make it to Necron turn. So this lone Scarab is just going to stay here and continue to fight it out. The Scarabs that popped out last time have moved over here to try and waylay into these guys. This convergence popped out 3 Scarabs. This convergence popped out 5 flayed ones. So now we've flip-flopped with what we're popping out. So charge phase. These 3 Scarabs are going to charge into the Havocs. And these guys are just going to do regular combat. It's a really long charge, but the Scarabs up there are going to charge into these Legionnaires here also. Alright, so both sets of Scarabs made their charges. Nothing died in Overwatch. These Scarabs didn't actually kill anything, but 2 of them died. These guys didn't kill anything either. They took a couple points of damage, but at least they didn't lose any Scarabs. These guys finally managed to kill off the Scarab that was over here. It didn't kill anything of... Yeah, it didn't even do any damage. They're really good for tying stuff up in large groups, but in little ones, they're just I mean, they're still good for tying stuff up in little groups. They just don't do as much damage as they do when they're 9 strong as opposed to 3. Either way, that makes it the Chaos Alliance turn. So the Havocs have fallen back further along this wall here. The Obliterators have moved a little bit closer to the Scarabs. The Night Lord Legionnaires over here are going to remain in combat with the single Scarab, and everybody else advanced. These guys finally made it past the wall area. Alright, well, that's going to take us to the Psyker phase. So these guys are going to try and do Doombolt on these flayed ones. Looking for a 9. That's not a 9. So these guys are going to try and do Doombolt on these Scarabs. Also not a 9. I mean, I guess I should be glad that it's gone off the 1 or 2 times this game that it has. Alright, so Chaos Shooting. The Obliterators here managed to kill off the Scarabs that have been haunting the Havocs. These guys all shot their pistols at the Scarabs that they're fighting and unfortunately didn't wound a single bit. No charges, but these Legionnaires are going to continue to try and kill off this last remaining Scarab. So the Legionnaires were very successful in killing off that last Scarab. That'll make it the Necron turn. Just spit more things out of the convergences. The flayed ones have moved up closer to these Legionnaires, and each convergence spat out 3 Scarabs. So for charging, the flayed ones are going to charge into these Legionnaires, and these Scarabs are going to charge into the Havocs. I feel like the Havocs are going to fall back into the portal. So the Scarabs and the flayed ones both made their charges. Neither suffered any damage in Overwatch. The Scarabs actually managed to kill off one of the Havocs. Took a little bit of damage in return. The flayed ones didn't do any damage and then just got completely beat down. They all died. Alright. So back to the Chaos Alliance as they continue their quest to get to this gateway. Movement. Alright. The Havocs have fallen back over to the left here. And then everybody else on this side is just moved up as far as they could, getting closer to this little hallway thing. These guys have moved up as far as they could towards these Scarabs. Alright, so the Psyker phase. Doombolt from these guys into the Scarabs. Looking for a 9, doesn't get it with a 7. So this guy is going to try and do Doombolt on those Scarabs. He does get it with an 11. 96, looking for 6s. There's 2 6s in that grouping, so 2 damage to these guys. Already wounded, so that guy will go down to 1. I previously thought that these guys move 12, but they really only go 10, so if these guys do move, they're only going to go 5. So all that being said, though, that'll take us to the shooting phase. Alright, so the 2 Obliterators managed to kill off all of the Scarabs over here. And between the Legionnaires and the Scarab-Occult Terminators, they killed off all the Scarabs that were over here. So there's nobody left to charge into. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one to the Chaos team. They did wipe off all the Necrons. Alright. Chaos wins. Yay. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it and say that Chaos does indeed win this game. They make it to the gateway. They'll continue on to the next room. This has been a long game. I didn't anticipate it going this long. So yeah, Chaos wins. Yay! If you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it, especially with my bad pronunciation of rubric. Yeah, this particular series is going to definitely be interesting. The deeper these guys get into the thing, the more elaborate I think the terrain's going to have to be, and the more annoying the units they're going to have to come up against are going to be. Because while scarabs are nice, 3 at a time definitely didn't. It was annoying, but I don't think it was as annoying. I don't know. It's probably 3 in the morning and I'm kind of blithering on like an idiot, so. Again, if you made it to the end, I do greatly appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.